1956 wasn't just another year in country music. It was a revolution in boots. Rockabilly was crashing through jukeboxes. Nashville was holding its breath. And a young man in black walked the line between tradition and rebellion. This was the year country got loud, raw, and unforgettable. These 15 songs didn't just define the era, they still echo through every pickup truck and dive bar across America. Let's count down the country anthems from 1956. We'll never forget. And wait till you hear what topped the list. It changed everything.
I bet there's rich folks eating in a fancy dining car,
looking for someone like you.
my heart beats so it's scared of me to death. I wish to touch you my hand.
15. The Louvin Brothers. When I Stopped Dreaming.
When I stop dreaming.
Haunting harmonies. A melody that felt more like a prayer than a song. When I Stopped Dreaming wasn't just another country duet. It was a slow-burning masterpiece that wrapped sorrow in Southern gospel roots. The Louvin Brothers weren't flashy, but their close harmonies and emotional truth cut deeper than a barbed wire fence.
You know, singing groups come and singing groups go, but there's a duo that shows signs of going on forever. Ladies and gentlemen, Ira and Charlie, the Louvin Brothers.
In a year that was going wild with new sounds, this ballad reminded everyone where country came from. Heartbreak, harmony, and heaven. And speaking of heartbreak, wait until you hear the next track. It's a honky-tonk heartbreaker that changed one woman's career forever. 14. Kitty Wells. Searching for Someone Like You.
Looking for someone just like you.
Before there was Reba or Miranda, there was Kitty Wells, the undisputed queen of country. And in 1956, she dropped Searching for Someone Like You, a smooth, aching ballad that painted love as both a mission and a mystery.
Searching, looking for someone like you.
This wasn't the fiery protest of it wasn't God who made honky-tonk angels, but something softer, more vulnerable. It showed Wells could break hearts with grace, not just grit. It topped the charts and proved female country stars weren't going anywhere. But next up, a man who made Blue Suede a warning shot across Nashville's bow. 13. Carl Perkins. Blue Suede Shoes.
Friends, here he is. Very nice to have Carl on the show. Carl Perkins and the trio stepping out in their blue suede shoes.
It wasn't strictly country, but it hit country hard. Carl Perkins fused hillbilly swagger with electric twang, and Blue Suede Shoes became a cultural earthquake. It was gritty, rebellious, and proud of its Tennessee roots.
It's one for the money, two for the show. Three to get it ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't you.
Country fans couldn't ignore it. The track stormed the Billboard charts, and every young artist from Arkansas to Alabama took notes. Even Elvis gave it a spin, but true fans know Carl wore it first.
Well, you can do anything but get on for my blue suede shoes.
This was the sound of Southern defiance, and it wouldn't be the last in '56. Because coming up next is a song that introduced the world to a man in black, and a line you should never walk. 12. Johnny Horton, Honky Tonk Man.
I'm a honky-tonk man.
Before his battle ballads took over the 60s, Johnny Horton was just a honky-tonk drifter with a killer hook.
Right now, here is Mr. Johnny Horton with his big Columbia record, his new hit.
Honky Tonk Man hit like a shot of cheap whiskey, sharp, loud, and impossible to ignore. It was pure roadhouse energy, telling the story of a man who couldn't stay out of the bar or away from temptation. With its upbeat swagger and tight production, it became Horton's breakthrough hit and a honky-tonk anthem for the ages. But buckle up. Next is a ballad that made the world fall in love and fall apart. 11. Patsy Cline. A church, a courtroom, and then goodbye.
A church, a courtroom, and then goodbye.
Before Crazy, before Walking After Midnight, there was this. Patsy Cline's haunting debut single, released in 1956. A church, a courtroom, and then goodbye. Didn't tear up the charts, but it tore through listeners' hearts. The lyrics, a tragic story of love, betrayal, and divorce. The voice, pure, piercing, and painfully honest.
Where we claimed each other with tears of joy we cried.
It wasn't a smash hit, not yet, but it put Cline on the radar and lit the slow-burning fuse of a legend in the making. And now, we head to the biggest hit of the year, a tune that made country radio feel again. 10. Ray Price, Crazy Arms.
Crazy arms that reach to hold.
The moment Ray Price released Crazy Arms, the whole game changed. This wasn't just a chart topper, it was a blueprint. That 4/4 shuffle rhythm, it would become the sound of Texas honky-tonk for decades. His croon was smooth as bourbon, but full of heartbreak, singing about love lost and arms that couldn't forget. It spent 20 weeks at #1 on the country charts, a record for the time, and turned Price into a giant. From this point on, country wasn't just twang, it had polish and power.
#1 was when you left me.
But coming up next, a country crooner with a gospel soul and a voice like velvet lightning. 9. Jim Reeves, Bimbo, still charting in 56.
Bimbo, bimbo, where you gonna go, yo? Bimbo, bimbo, what you gonna do, yo?
Originally released in late 1953, Bimbo just wouldn't quit. By 1956, it was still spinning on jukeboxes across America. Jim Reeves had that smooth gentleman cowboy charm, and this playful track about a mischievous boy named Bimbo became an unexpected classic.
Bimbo, bimbo, where you gonna go?
It wasn't deep or dramatic, but it was catchy, clean, and perfect for family radio. Reeves was setting the stage for the Nashville sound before anyone even called it that. But don't get too comfortable. Next is a hard-edged honky-tonker who made sure country stayed a little dangerous. 8. Hank Thompson, Rub-a-Dub-Dub.
Hank Thompson Show, bringing you live the nation's favorite Hank Thompson and his Brazos Valley Boys.
You read that title right, and yes, it's based on the nursery rhyme. But Hank Thompson took that simple phrase and turned it into a honky-tonk toe tapper with barroom bite. Rub-a-Dub-Dub wasn't just novel, it was clever, bouncy, and packed with western swing flair. Thompson's voice danced between croon and growl, and the track's steel guitar licks kept feet stomping from Texas to Tennessee.
3 men in a tub, lost on the ocean blue. I'll roll like a hub thing, rub-a-dub-dub.
It proved that even silly-sounding songs could chart, if they were wrapped in real-deal musicianship. And now, from one wild ride to a chart-smashing rebel anthem. 7. Marty Robbins, Singing the Blues.
Well, I never felt more like singing the blues.
If country music had a blueprint for sadness, Marty Robbins sketched it with Singing the Blues. Released in 56, this one was simple, raw, and heartbreak heavy, just the way fans loved it. It spent 13 weeks at #1 and became Robbins' first mega hit, setting him on a path to stardom. The title said it all. Country wasn't just about cowboys and beer. It was about feeling every broken piece of love.
All right. Friends and neighbors, here's Marty Robbins to sing El Paso.
And with that smooth, sincere voice, Robbins became the genre's new heartbreaker in chief. But wait till you hear what happens when heartbreak goes gospel. 6th, Porter Wagoner, Company's Coming.
Then I awake and look around me at these 4 gray walls that surround me.
Long before he was mentoring Dolly Parton or donning rhinestone suits on TV, Porter Wagoner delivered this front porch banger. Company's Coming was a foot-stomping, toe-tapping invitation to the kind of gathering only small-town country folks know best.
Just they all come to meet me.
The lyrics were simple and cheerful, but the energy was infectious. Wagoner's drawl made it feel like you were right there, smelling biscuits and sweeping the porch. This wasn't heartbreak or rebellion. It was community. But don't get too cozy. Next up is a country hit with a scandalous backstory and a woman who refused to play by the rules. 5. Faron Young, Sweet Dreams. Faron Young's 1956 recording of Sweet Dreams is dripping with smooth heartbreak. Written by Don Gibson, this early version gave us a glimpse of country's emotional depth. Young's velvet vocals wrapping around lyrics soaked in regret. The song would go on to be covered by Patsy Cline, Emmylou Harris, and more, but this version? It's the raw blueprint. Young was already known as the hillbilly heartthrob, and this track proved he could carry not just charm, but weight. And if you thought that was emotional, just wait. The next artist walked into Sun Records and rewrote country's rulebook in 2.5 minutes. 4. Johnny Cash, a wee Folsom Prison Blues.
I don't know when I'm stuck in Folsom Prison.
I shot a man in Reno, just to watch him die. One lyric, one legend born. With Folsom Prison Blues, Johnny Cash introduced his signature sound. Train track rhythm, deep baritone, and raw, outlaw storytelling. Though it was first recorded in 1955, it gained traction in 1956, and Cash was suddenly the most dangerous voice in country music. The song blurred lines between sinner and saint, hero and villain, and audiences loved it.
I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling around the bend.
Country music had found its anti-hero, and nothing would ever be the same. But the next artist, he didn't just blur genres, he obliterated them. 3. Elvis Presley, Heartbreak Hotel.
My heart beats so it's scared of me to death. I wish to touch you, my hand.
Was it country? Was it rock? Was it dangerous? Yes. Heartbreak Hotel was Elvis Presley's first #1 hit, and while he shook the world as a rock and roll icon, his roots were pure country. That slow echoing blues beat, that aching vocal, that Memphis swagger. It wasn't your grandpa's country music, and that's exactly why it worked. Country fans either loved it or feared it, but nobody ignored it. Elvis broke the mold and built a kingdom in its place. And up next, a duet so pure, so tragic, it still echoes through every broken heart in Nashville. 2. Don Gibson, Sweet Dreams, original recording.
Sweet, oh sweet.
Yes, again. But here's the twist. Faron Young sang it first, but Don Gibson wrote and recorded it the same year. His version didn't chart like Young's, but it bled even more emotion. Stripped down, sorrow-soaked, and quietly brilliant, Gibson's take on Sweet Dreams is country songwriting at its core. Gibson would go on to pen classics like I Can't Stop Loving You, but in 1956, this was his quiet declaration. He didn't just sing country, he defined it. And now, the song that stood tallest in '56, a promise, a vow, and a line that divided old country from the new. Number 1, Johnny Cash, I Walk the Line.
He's a real nice guy in person. Let's welcome Johnny Cash to the Tennessee Blues.
This wasn't just a hit, it was a mission statement. I Walk the Line dropped in 1956 and rocketed to number 1. But more than that, it introduced the world to a new kind of country. Dark, steady, defiant. Cash's deep, trembling voice. That signature boom-chicka-boom rhythm. Lyrics that read like a soldier's oath. It was honest, raw, stark, and it hit harder than anything country had ever heard. This wasn't rhinestones and radio smiles. This was grit, loyalty, and love, wrapped in black.
Big John, good to have you with us.
Good to see you. How you doing, Jim?
I don't guess I could be any better. Don't get to see you very often.
Johnny Cash didn't just walk the line, he redrew it. 1956 wasn't just a turning point, it was a warning shot. Country music grew up, got real, and lit a fire that's still burning today. From heartbreak ballads to outlaw anthems, these songs didn't fade. They defined generations. Which one still hits you hardest? Drop it in the comments. We read everyone. And if you're ready to keep riding through country's wildest years, don't miss our deep dive into 1973. Country songs we'll never forget. Hit subscribe. The next chapter starts now.